For those of you who love Japanese food, Katsu is a Japanese restaurant staple and an easy favorite for many. Thinly pounded chicken breasts are covered in panko-style breadcrumbs and are fried to a crisp. Served with my edamame slaw and miso dressing, this dish surely belongs in your great everyday meal roster of recipes. For today's meal, I'm making chicken katsu, such a favorite in my house. It's basically thinly pounded chicken breasts. You could actually go to the store and get it already pounded for you, or you can go home and take out your aggressions on the chicken breast, which I prefer doing. So I have here 3 chicken breasts I've already pounded thinly. If you do this at home, go ahead and get saran wrap, some plastic wrap, put it in the bottom, put the chicken breast on top of the plastic wrap and cover it again with another plastic wrap and just have at it with your mallet. So I have here the chicken breast. I'm gonna go ahead though and start with a katsu sauce. That is a favorite of many. You can't really have chicken katsu without katsu sauce. And you would be surprised how easy it is that you can make it at home versus the bottle. So let's get our bowl ready. And I have my measuring cups here. You can eyeball it if you're pretty good at it, but I'm gonna go ahead and use my measuring cups. We are gonna take 1 cup. I have here all natural ketchup. Scrape that with a spoon or a spatula so that we get here. You really cannot have chicken katsu without katsu sauce. That's what makes chicken katsu, really. Okay, so the ketchup is in. Let's put this right here. I'm making a mess of this ketchup. Okay. Next, we're gonna get a 1/4 cup of soy sauce. You can use low sodium if you want. I'm just gonna use regular old soy sauce. 1/4 cup of that. And then we're gonna do 2 tablespoons of rice wine vinegar. Oh, I have it right here. 2 tablespoons of rice wine vinegar. Dried spices. Okay? 1/2 tablespoon of each. 1/2 tablespoon of garlic powder. In this case, I would not use fresh garlic. We're gonna do 1/2 teaspoon of ground ginger. I like ginger, so I'll put a little bit more. And 1/2 teaspoon of ground mustard. Take our whisk. Where's my trusty whisk? Whisk it all together. And believe it or not, that's katsu sauce. That's how easy it is. Just whisk it very well. And then we'll let it sit. So that's why I made it first, because I kind of want the flavors to get all melded together, marinate together, so when we're ready to eat, the katsu sauce really flavorful. We are taking panko-style breadcrumbs. Really, back then, you couldn't really find this in any local grocery store. You had to go to an Asian store, a specialty store. But these days, you could really get it anywhere. This came from a local organic market, and I actually found it in whole wheat style, which is good. So I'm gonna put some panko breadcrumbs right here. Then I'm gonna get some eggs. Let's crack. Let me get a bowl here. Let's put our eggshells in. Let's do about 4 eggs. Eggs will serve as the glue. Serve as the glue to our chicken chicken breast and the breadcrumbs. My chicken breast here. Grab my salt and pepper. Just take some salt. Salt one side. Grab some pepper. What I like to do is put it in the egg mixture. Dip it in. Take the excess egg off. You don't want it to be too wet. You just want it to coat it, lightly coat it with egg. Okay, put it in with your panko breadcrumbs. This part could get really messy. It's worth it. Another great way to get your kids in the kitchen. Have them do this. It gets them to learn about their food and learn how to make it. And it's a fun way to always, a fun way to learn about your food is really getting hands-on. It's lightly coated here. What I like to double dip. So after this is done, dip it in again, very lightly, quickly, and put it back in your katsu. In your panko. Okay. Panko is not your typical kind of breadcrumbs, that's for sure. It's lighter, crispier. I like it much better than traditional breadcrumbs. So while that's sitting there, I'm gonna let that first one hang there. I'm gonna heat my skillet and wash my hands. So I can start that. Put it to medium-high heat. I'm using olive oil. Some people would say not to use olive oil because it's not a traditional Japanese cooking. I like it. I like the sweetness of it. It gets has a nice flavor. You can use canola oil if you don't like vegetable oil. It's not that serious. You can use whatever oil you want. And you have to remember the breadcrumbs do soak up that oil. And the key to not letting your katsu be greasy is to make sure that it's at a very high temperature. Now, if the temperature was low to medium heat and you put the chicken cutlet on there, it soaks up all the oils. Versus if it was really high, it wouldn't soak it up as much and you end up with a nice, perfectly crispy katsu as opposed to greasy and oily and not so good. So that's the secret to having a really good crispy katsu. All right, I can smell the oil. I can see it glistening in the pan like always. So you can kind of see it doing a ripple effect. I'm gonna slowly put this in. You can hear that sizzle. I love that sound. All right, make sure medium high. Make sure it's got a good heat and just let it be for a couple minutes, okay? Now we'll turn back around and we'll start a little bit of our edamame slaw for this. So I have my last katsu back here cooking, and while that's cooking, I'm gonna go ahead and start on the edamame slaw. And this is something I'm very excited about. This is something I kind of just made up. When you go to Japanese restaurants, you always kind of get a side of slaw. This is something that you do have to go to a specialty market for. You can get it in specialty organic stores or the local Asian store. Don't be afraid of your local Asian store. Go in there and you'll be surprised all the cool things that you'll see in there that you can implement in your everyday cooking. So here's some miso paste. You can easily turn this into soup, with some noodles, your traditional miso soup that you always get in Japanese restaurants. What we're gonna do here is use it in a dressing. So we're gonna get a third of a cup of miso paste. Miso is basically soy paste. Alright, third of a cup of that. What I'm gonna do is it's right in front of me. like what we use for the katsu sauce. Just to cut through there, 2 tablespoons. Salt, 2 teaspoons of salt. And some pepper. Olive oil. Drizzle that. It's a paste, right? So we gotta kind of work with it. Swish it around. Give your whisk. It's about half a cup of olive oil. And you just want to work that in together. With that, let me check on my chicken. Now, I just went to the store and got regular home-style diced coleslaw. Very typical. You can buy this anywhere. You can get shredded if you wanted. I got the diced. Doesn't really matter. Just open that up. Put the entire bag in with the dressing. And we have edamame. Shelled. You can get them shelled or not shelled. Now edamame looks like this. This is soy, so soybeans basically. It looks like this. When you go to a restaurant, you can order edamame just like this, and you kind of just look at it with your teeth and get the beans out. What I got today were not shelled. I couldn't find any shelled ones in the store, so I took it out myself. So if you couldn't find any shelled ones, you can just easily squeeze the beans out. And these were already blanched. Blanched organic soybeans, so I don't have to do anything. Edamame. So you just put that in. Let's get a spoon. We don't need to add any more salt, any more pepper, any of that, because the miso is very flavorful, and we did add a little bit of salt already in there. If you can't find miso, you can just use very simply olive oil, Dijon mustard, splash of soy sauce, rice wine vinegar, and also I'm going to add a little bit of lemon juice. Cut this in half. Fork here. Get the juice rolling. There, and we want to serve this chilled, so let's put this back in the fridge. Just give it a try, see if it needs anything else. Alright, that's very good. That lemon, maybe a little bit more lemon. Just cut through that miso paste. Spoon. Put it in the fridge. That way we can serve it cold with our meal. So our katsu, I think, is all done now. Last one out of the 3 cutlets, chicken breast that we pounded in. And look how good that looks. So now what we're gonna do is cut it into strips. I've already pre-cut the other 2 that we finished earlier. And this is the 3rd, and look how much food 3 chicken breasts could give you. This mound of katsu right here, plus 1 more. That's a lot of food. We're gonna slice this now to thin strips. Very careful because it's hot. You can certainly pound these thinner if you wanted to. I went ahead and made some white jasmine rice earlier, and it's ready now. So I'm gonna take that. You know what? If you don't have a rice cooker, you should buy a rice cooker. It's so easy. Put 2 cups of rice, 3.5 cups of water, and press cook, and you let it go. 10-15 minutes later, you have perfectly fluffy rice. No mussing around, fussing around with your rice. So what I have here, just Get a big heap of white jasmine rice. I'm gonna take here some chicken katsu. Fan it out. There's a lot to go around, so don't get shady with the katsu. Share. There's plenty. This will certainly feed the whole family. And I think this package of 3 breasts was only about $5-6. And look how much food I have. I have here some lemon. Some of the edamame slaw that we made earlier and chilled in the fridge. A little bit of that on the side. And don't forget our katsu sauce. Homemade. And just drizzle that on your chicken katsu. And that's your Japanese dinner for tonight. So let's go ahead and give that a try. Can't wait to dig in. Squeeze a little bit of lemon here. So good. Piece of katsu, lots of katsu sauce. Nice and crispy on the outside. So good. Some of the slaw and rice. You can definitely do this at home. It's so easy. Not at all as exotic as you think it would be. It's so good. If you want to see any more recipes like this or videos, go ahead and log on to mommacuisine.com.